I have to re-record everything that I just recorded because my husband's phone ran out of storage. Hi friends, my name is Amanda and welcome to my channel AceKreates, and I am your Tunisian crochet bestie, and we are going to be talking a lot about Tunisian crochet. In fact, mostly about Tunisian crochet. Like, that's all I have. Actually, that's a lie. I do have one knitted project that I will just show it to you, but there's not really any new updates to it. I am itching to cast on something knitted, but I want to get a few things off my hooks and needles before I do that. And so if that sounds good to you, we're going to be catching up on everything that I have been working on over the last few weeks. It's been a few weeks since I did a podcast, came back from travel, I got really busy, and so I have been working on my stuff. I just didn't have the time to sit down and record. And so it's a quiet Saturday afternoon now in my household. My daughter is napping. Hopefully you don't hear all of the external noises around, and hopefully I don't run out of storage again, because if I have to re-record this a third time, I won't be happy. If that all sounds good to you, we're going to be talking about several Tunisian crochet projects, a couple of finished objects, a couple of whips, and some upcoming plans. If that sounds good to you, grab something cozy. I've got some coffee, cinnamon hazelnut coffee from, it's actually called Bush's grocery store in Michigan. I brought some home and it's delicious. So cheers to that. So the first thing I want to talk about is what I'm wearing. I am wearing the double take Tunisian tank from Kayla Wood, K-Crochet on Instagram, all the socials, her website, everything. It's a super basic, easy Tunisian crochet with this cute keyhole button detail. That is what I fell in love with it. It's also reversible, so if you decide to style it with the simple crochet out, she actually styles it with the simple crochet, she styles it with the simple crochet inside, and then the kind of garter-like texture that you get from the inside of Tunisian crochet on the outside. I chose to just have the Tunisian crochet simple stitch on the outside. It also has crochet detailing around like a bottom ribbing, although I don't think it needs it because I really like the look of like just the cast on edge of Tunisian crochet. But I'd love to make this again in another fabric and probably a smaller size now that I've lost a little bit of weight, and so it kind of just sits oversized so you can see my bra, but that's okay. I'm learning to just be okay with some of that stuff, because it's okay if you could see someone's bra or bra straps. People wear bras. I mean, that's just a fact of life. Or they don't, and that's great too. First thing we're gonna talk about is a finished object. And actually I'm gonna go a little back and forth because I have a finished object and then I'm gonna show you a whip. And there's a reason why. So this finished object only made a brief appearance on the podcast last time because I started it the day I flew out to Michigan because I spent a lot of time in the airport. So I got quite a bit of the back panel done. And then I think by the time that I had recorded the last episode at the end of February, I had the whole back panel and I had maybe a third to a half of the front panel. Well, now it's a finished object. And this is the Wild Sage tank from Ashley Rivas of Tiny Couch Crochet. So this is a tank top from her upcoming book. It will come out late this year. And this is the third test that I've done for her. It's due at the end of the month, so I'm done and in time, and I just have to take photos. I haven't taken photos yet. There are a couple things that let's talk about, but first I want to show you kind of like what made me fall in love with this. First of all, look at that detailing. The detailing here along the sides, it's on the back as well. So you get this really nice detailing on your sides. And then Ashley is a master at the detailing around like armholes and necklines and things like that. I mean, like, look at how well this comes together in a point, and just the balance on both sides, the symmetry, and then the detail on the strap. So it's just gorgeous. And it's a, I would say, adventurous beginner, because it's mostly made up of the simple stitch, Tunisian simple stitch, but there is this twisted, and twisted simples were very scary for me in the beginning. And then I did them for my mom's Indecision sampler sweater. I did it as part of one of the sections, and I got over my fear. And I really like the look of it because it gives you this like mock rib here, and one of the stitches is just slanted, and it just creates this beautiful texture here. And like, look at the center. Hold on, let's pull this up. She even does it here in the center, that detailing here that follows up and shapes the bust line here on the front side. And then the back is just kind of a shaping for the armholes, but then a straight back. And then there's some crochet like edging detailing on this. But it's a gorgeous cropped tank top that I can see myself making multiple of these. It's fingering weight, and it's 2 skeins for the size large. So I made size large, which was supposed to be like a 40 to 42 inch bust. Let's talk about that, because I ended up getting 38 inches. So that ends up being 4 to 5 inches of negative ease, just depending on the day and my bust. And which is fine for me. It just makes the stomach area a little bit more tighter, but I'm getting over my fear and trying to be more body positivity with my own body. And be more comfortable with that, especially after losing some weight and things like that. So it's just, I've always had body image issues. Still ended up with the bust size being a little bit smaller than what the pattern chart. So I'm interested to see if anybody else in the test group had that issue. I think Ashley said actually it's been the opposite. So it's definitely a me problem, and I'm still trying to figure that out. The camera shut off again. I have a couple thoughts as to why this likely ended up this way. One, I'm using Emma's yarn Hella Hank, which is a superwash nylon cashmere blend, but it's a 2-ply. I think if I had used a 3 or 4-ply, I might have gotten closer to the 21 stitches, closer to pre-block, because she uses the Malabrigo Ultimate Sock for the sample, and I have plenty of, not Ultimate Sock, but I have regular sock. And so I think that could have helped me get a little bit better on chart for the size. At the end of the day, for me, I mean, I met gauge, so I think it's just a yarn issue in terms of like the yarn choice. And so I want to make this again in another like super wash blend, but something that falls closer to like 3 or 4-ply for the fingering weight. But I really love this tank top, and I'm definitely going to be making another 1 or 2 in the future. And the future is now, because I'm actually making another one. And let's see, do I have the front? I don't have the front panel showing to you guys. So this is the second one that I'm making, and I'm making this one 2 sizes bigger, because I figure if I'm 2 to 4 inches off on my other one, if I make 2 sizes bigger, I'll get what the effect that I want out of this. I should be somewhere between like a 44 to 45 inch bust on this once it's done. This won't have as much stretch because I'm using Knitting for Olive pure silk. I mean, it is going to stretch over time, but it's not going to give me like the bust stretching that I would need. So that's why I made this a little bit normal than I like bigger, based on my final size and how I'm off chart. So I'm still trying to troubleshoot like what went wrong on the first one, but like, look at this. This is gonna be a cute, like, oh, look at that. You can see all the detail. My husband's phone is so much better than mine at recording. Mine's so broke, it's not even funny. You can see just so how cute that is. So this is the back panel. So I'm right at the spot where I'm going to be shaping in. I am thinking about stopping and maybe pulling back a couple rows. I'm at the length that I want because I don't want it as cropped as the first one. And since it won't grow that much, I don't want, but silk also will grow over time. So, but I don't want to play yarn chicken. I have 3 balls. I really only want to use 3 balls. I don't want to have to get a 4th ball of this, because I really like the idea of like a 2/ I mean, if you were, it's knitting for olive, so it's 3 balls, but it's 2 skeins of like any normal fingering weight yarn. And I have plenty of like Malabrigo sock in like 2 skein projects, and like they're only really good for like knitting projects. And so I love that this is a perfect Tunisian 2 skein fingering weight for several sizes. It's not all sizes that you can get it for 2 skeins, but even a 3 skein in a larger size, I think that's pretty awesome. And so like I have this really gorgeous purple. I think that that would be really nice. I don't know if it's my color, but it's a tank top, so like I don't care. I love the color. And so I have several different like of these like Malabrigo socks, and I think that that Malabrigo is like a 3-ply. I don't know what kind of ply it is, but I think that that would make a really cute project. So that is it. That is my Wild Sage tank top. It just officially got a name. It was the garden top in testing, but she just gave it a new name, and it will be in Ashley's book coming out at the end of the year. Like I said, it's the 3rd pattern I've tested for her. I'm super excited for her book. And that is my first whip. So finished object and whip, both the same thing. I will probably make another one. I don't think I'll make another one right away. I'm actually itching to cast on another of my, I don't think I have it in here. I don't have the other one that I did for her in this gorgeous Sorella. It's the one I first swatched, the one I first wanted to make. She actually renamed it. It was like she just had it as like a square Tunisian tank to the Wild Lupine tank. So I want to make another one of those because it's just a great summer piece. So the next finished object that I'm going to show you is the Kylie Fingerless mitts from Stefanie Bold. And it is a Tunisian crochet fingerless mitts pattern. And I did this in 2 days. I did almost one completely on my airplane ride back, and then I cast on and did the other one in like a day and a half. And it's well, okay, I have a lot to say about this pattern. One, it's like 12 years old. It's a free pattern. I really shouldn't complain too much, but it is a little convoluted. I'll just leave it at that in terms of like, it's not written in a lot of like standard Tunisian crochet like writing, or at least what I've seen. And so it was kind of hard to really understand. So it took me a while before I decided to cast these on because I had to read the pattern multiple times. It says it's a sport weight pattern in the Ravelry listing, but when you get and open the pattern, it's, you can use fingering weight. You can use anything, like really up to sport weight. And so I had planned on using this single skein of sport weight from Jam Jar Yarns. I'll put the colorway on the screen because I don't really remember, but it's this like soft variegated pink, like lightly variegated pink. And it's a super basic pattern. It's a rectangle with a thumb gusset. And I'm not really in love with it, so this will definitely probably be in my gift pile. I did want to try it for like what would be a good gift item. And now that it seeing after the fact that you could use fingering weight, I think you could get away with just like, this is a one skein project, and that's what I was really testing it for, is to see if it could be a one skein project. I haven't even sewn up this little thumb gusset right here. I did it on this one, but not on the last one. And so it's just, you know, Tunisian simple stitch. You seam it together. I don't think I followed what you were supposed to do with the seam. I really should have done something that's more of like an invisible seam, but I was lazy and didn't. But if I were to make this again, which I'm not going to, I think there's several other like more complex patterns that I would like to try before I would try making this again, with like designing and things like that. But if I were to make it again, I would make a few things different. I would maybe do some shaping along in here. I thought the thumb gusset and the way she constructed that was really unique. But it also creates this like squareness here that I don't really like. So I would do some shaping. I would probably I would do that much less. So, you know, I don't think you need this. Plus it gets, because there's no shaping, it gets tight like right here, which if you live in colder climates, maybe that's what you want. But I want something that will sit like just here underneath a coat, you know? So I would definitely cast on less stitches, which would make this, honestly, you could probably make this 2 of them in a day if you cast on that less stitches, and only really left enough here to do the thumb gusset, and then have some shaping, or have your fingerless, your fingers here. But because it's Tunisian simple stitch, it works up really, really fast. And it, like I said, it's a rectangle, and then you do this, for the most part, you kind of start here, you do a bunch of the rows, then you do the thumb, and then you kind of do more of the thumb, and you come like around here, and then you come back and do the back, and then you seam it together. That's essentially what I got. Hopefully that was what it was supposed to be, but like I said, it's a little convoluted, but it's a super basic pattern. But even though it's big, like basic stitches, like Tunisian simple stitch and just some shaping, I wouldn't recommend this pattern to a beginner just because of how convoluted the pattern is a little bit to me, but they're cute. They're just not my style. So these will definitely be going into like a gift pile for like family and friends back in the Midwest. But that is a finished object. I did these in 2 days, and so it does work up pretty fast. Like, you have to spend most of your time doing it. Actually, I did all of one glove on a flight, so a 4-hour flight. So you could get this done in 8 hours, so a whole day if you wanted. But nothing else really special to say about this. I just had a random skein. I didn't have anything else really to work on the flight. And so, because I knew I was gonna be in the dark or semi-dark, so I wanted something super easy to work on and not my tank top. The next project that we're gonna talk about is my Hearthside Raglan from Lindsey at Just the Worsted. It's a Tunisian crochet sweater done in the round, and it's a test for her. She's been super generous with giving us 17 weeks, so I've been able to kind of sneak in some other projects because this isn't due until the beginning of May. And so this is the first time it's appearing on the podcast. I show you swatches and everything, but this is the first time like the actual garment itself is making an appearance. And there we are. And so I have done the yoke in the round. Well, actually, I'll talk a little bit about that, but I've done the yoke, and I have like maybe 3 inches unblocked. It's probably 4 or 5 inches blocked of the body. And so that is the Hearthside Raglan. I am using Baliora fiber Rivers Bay in her Merino Decay. So this is the yarn. It's this gorgeous navy blue, but with depth. And I have to alternate skeins just because of the way this works. But because I'm doing Tunisian crochet in the round, my return pass is a different ball of yarn than my forward pass. So it's less, it's a lot harder to alternate skeins the traditional way. But I'm just gonna learn to live with it and be okay with it, because the first project I did with her, I ended up with like a rogue skein that was so much more different, and I didn't notice it until later. And my yarny friends like tell me, oh, like, you can hardly notice it. You can notice it. But I'm trying to show you. So it's a really unique construction. You don't start in the round. You actually start flat. And I'll show you, because you can see it. It's supposed to be an invisible seam. And so I don't know if it was a knee thing or it's just not the right seam for this. But you can definitely tell. At the end of the day, it's going to be like in the back here where my hair will be down, or you won't really notice it. But you can see it. It's not invisible. So again, not sure if it was a knee thing or if it was like not the right seam. I'm also like, why couldn't we just start this in the round? So I don't know if like maybe that it's done. Maybe she did that way because of like the increase. Maybe that would be a little bit more like harder for people to do the increases as well in the round. But you do everything flat until you're done with all your increases, essentially. And then you add on chaining here to get your underarm. And then you start your in the round work. And it's super unique in that aspect. I don't think I've never worked on, I've only worked on one Tunisian in the round. I mean, I would call myself an advanced Tunisian crocheter, but this is the first time I've done it in a sweater or a garment. I've done it in a cowl Tunisian crochet in the round, but not in a garment. So I'm at the point where I just have to go until I'm comfortable for length. I'm making size medium, which will end up being like true to size on me. I didn't want anything too oversized, although I kind of want to try it on. Let's do a live try on. Oh, okay. Honestly, I thought this was going to be really small, but it's not. Like once it's blocked. So I'm like just at like mid bust here. But the arm, I cast on a couple extra stitches. I actually cast on the stitches for the next two sizes up, or for the larger sizes. Basically one number of stitches for most of the sizes and then for the larger sizes, but I just wanted to give myself a little bit more room there underneath. It just makes the armhole a little bit different or bigger, but I wanted to give myself a little bit more room. That's probably where you would. So, and it'll stretch. I mean, this fabric, so it kind of reminds me of like what I've seen the Traveler's hoodie or crew pullover to be like, but once you, like in working, it's very bunched up and kind of like accordion-ish. But once you block this out, man, this fabric kind of stretches out and flat, and it gives you this gorgeous, gorgeous pattern. And so you do the body in the round, and then you do the sleeves in the round, and then it's done. So I have a month and a half to get this done. I'm actually aiming to get this done before the end, now that I say that it's March 22nd. I don't know if I will get that done before the end of March. That would be very ambitious, but we'll see. But I'd like to get it done, like say the first week of April, because you'll see why. But I'd love to get this done. This is probably one of my last sweaters for the season. I'm into tanks and knitted tees and things like that, and so I do have another sweater on my Make 9, the California sweater, but I think I'm going to make that later in the year. what was I saying? I want to finish this in the next, say, 2 weeks. It's just, I have to sit, and not that it has to be a quiet, because it's a pretty easy pattern, especially since your beginning of round and your last stitch are marked, so you know when to, like, what to do when. But it's a 3-row repeat throughout, and so once you get it going, it's super easy. Again, the more complicated part is just controlling your balls of yarn, because in Tunisian crochet, you have a ball for your forward pass, your return pass, you have a hook for your forward pass and a hook for your return pass. So I have to hold this up with the hooks, because yesterday at stitch night, it was a thing. I dropped some stitches on my return pass at some point because I tried to put too many stitches. But you have, let's see, this is my return hook and this is my forward hook. And so I would turn this around facing me and I would go this way to do my return. And then I drop this and then, or I drop it before I do my return, and then I do this one and you do your return. So definitely not, this is definitely an advanced pattern. But I think once you've done Tunisian crochet once in the round, you could do this pattern. If you've done other garments and understand construction, especially if you've done like knitted garments or crochet in the round from a raglan, because this is raglan shaping, so you have to understand like your increases and you're making your armholes and that kind of a thing. And so it's definitely advanced, but I think once you've done 1 or 2 Tunisian crochet in the round projects, you could do this with the knowledge of other garment construction. And so, yeah, it should be done hopefully by the next podcast. That's actually my goal. Next podcast, hopefully that will be a finished object for you to take a look at. This is my Drawn Together Cowl by Shana Cohen, and I am using woolberry fiber pottery in their Berry Home fingering, and it's a knitted drawstring cowl that I will make an I-cord for. And so this was my cast on, and I did that. It's this gorgeous, just like ribbed pattern. And I'm only using 1 skein of fingering held double. And I'm at so it's going to be shorter than, like, the pattern is a lot taller. But I'm about 30 yards short of like what the pattern recommended. This much yarn left for an I-cord bind off, which is about what it said we needed, about 10 grams for an I-cord bind off. And so that's what I'm doing. So this is Berry Home fingering and pottery. I don't know if I said that. And so I just need to like have the mental willpower to sit down. I've just been fascinated with other things, but I would love to get this off. I'm punishing myself by, I'm not going to cast on. Sorry if you hear me talking. I'm hoping that my projection is louder. My husband's in a meeting. But I'm not casting on anything knitted until this is off. So really, to incentivize, because I want to cast on the ranunculus next. And so I really need to get this off. So I need to, like, as soon as, like, I would say one of my Tunisian projects comes off, I need to sit down, figure out I-cord bind off, and get this off of my needles so that I can cast on a ranunculus. The next thing that I want to talk to you guys about is a swatch for an upcoming sweater. Now, I know I said I was done with sweaters, and I am for like the heavy DK or heavier, really DK because I don't make heavier, for the season, but I did get into a pattern test for Hunter May for May Crochet, and they do like these gorgeous like made to measure patterns. And so I've seen them, she has Universal Patterns on Instagram, I've seen them, and Ravelry and all those sites. I've seen them, and I got into her Everglade raglan, and it's this gorgeous Tunisian crochet in the round. So here I am about to do 2 Tunisian crochet garments back to back. But what's really unique about her patterns is you can choose any size yarn, any hook, as long as you like the fabric and you do some calculations to figure out your math for how much yarn you're going to use, you can use and do whatever you want. And so I'm testing this on scrap yarn just because I had a bunch of it left over from my stripe hype. The yarn that I would like to use is Woolberry Fibers Berry Cashmere, which is a blend of superwash merino, nylon, and cashmere. And this is the swatch. And it's these gorgeous rib detailing. And I did this swatch on a 4mm hook. And I've done the math. And I think if I make it true to size, like on my bust, I can get away with the yarn that I have. So this is the yarn that I want to use. I feel like it would be a gorgeous like spring / late fall sweater, or really a nice lightweight sweater because it's fingering weight yarn. It's going to have gorgeous drape. And I used the 4mm hook. I really like that fabric, although I might test it with the 4.5 just to see if that would work, and then recalculate my yarn just to double check. But I have 4 skeins of this, and it's their Brava colorway. I've had it almost since the beginning, and I would really love to make something with all 4 skeins. I think I'm right now, if I make it true to bust, which would give me like a nice snug bust, but still some room in the like stomach area, that I should have enough yarn. I mean, I can also make it a little cropped to buy me some more yarn. So this is what I would really like to use. The other one that I'm swatching as well, so I'm also swatching Emma's yarn Hella Hank, because using the leftovers from the tank top, because I have 3 skeins of this in Golden Hour, which is this gorgeous speckled. It's just not my first choice. I'd love to save this for another project. I think I would really, really like to use that cashmere one. They're both cashmere, so don't get me wrong. But since I just used Hella Hank, I kind of want to save this. I think I have like, I'm not sure what I have in mind for this. I just bought it whimsically like several years ago, but maybe a cardigan. I don't know. We'll see. But I have 3 skeins of that, so that's 1,800. Yeah, 6 times 3. So that I have 1,800 yards of this. So this would be, I think I could get away with the 1,600 if I crop it. And if it's like a spring / fall, that's what I would want, like a crop sweater. I don't really like long sweaters anyway, so that's my second choice. So that is the Everglade Raglan swatch that I've done. We'll show it a little closer. So she did hers in a DK weight, and honestly for a large, she said she got like it done in 3 skeins. I don't know how. I think that's voodoo magic. I would love to try it again in the future to see if you can get it done in 3 skeins. I don't know how you would do that. Like, I've done tank tops with 3 skeins of DK weight yarn, but maybe because it's a larger, I don't know. But I want to use fingering weight yarn because of the way I want to wear this sweater. This is my upcoming plan. I will probably cast on another tank top. I'm also kind of thinking about just free drafting a tank top. I have like something in my head about like what I would want to wear for Tunisian, and knowing what I know from here, I'm wondering, I kind of want to make it fingering, and I do have some like 2 and 3 skein fingering weights in my yarn stash, and so I kind of want to try that. But we'll see. I'm not married to anything right now. This for sure is the only thing. Oh, the other thing that I'm going to cast on next, after I get some things off, is the Day Off tank from Ashley at Tiny Couch Crochet, because it's a perfect summer weight yarn that I'm going to use. I'm going to use the Camellia Fiber Company's CFC flax fingering, which is an alpaca linen silk, 437 yards. And so I want to do this in the day off tank. It's one of my Make 9. So I'm hoping it's a two skein project. So that's what I'm gonna do probably next, once I cast off that other Tunisian tank top that I'm working on. I'll probably cast this on, or at least wind up the yarn so that it's ready to go when I'm ready. So that's it, my friends. Thank you so much for hanging it out with me and checking up on my progress. We do have some goals to meet for the next time we meet together. And so I would really appreciate it if you like this video, or if you're new around here and you have not subscribed to my channel, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. I am on a goal to get to 1,500 subscribers this year, and we are well on our way. We're almost at 1,100, and so I'm super excited about that. And this community of yarn lovers and fiber lovers and Tunisian crochet besties, and we are going to spread the joy of Tunisian crochet just one view at a time. And so thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye, friends.